Mike is not easy to hit still. Mike is still as powerful as he ever was.
What would have been the defense to the ear bite?
Bite his ass back. I even told him when we fought this, I said, Mike, can't be touched, can't be stopped, can't be anybody that's going to battle gotta feel like that. If you don't feel like that, then you ain't going to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Misfits News. I'm your host, as always, Ben the Bane Davis, joined by my co-host, BL. And before we can dive into today's excellent episode, I got to ask BL, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Ben. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I had a blue Gatorade. I'm feeling
Wow, a blue one, not green.
A blue one, not green this time.
Well, before we delve into all today's topics, let me give you a preview on what's in today's episode. So to start things off, we have Aiden Ross's boxing event being cancelled. HS Tiki has leaked a future Misfits card. Logan Paul is possibly fighting on the UFC. And we're hearing from the legend himself, Roy Jones Jr.
What an episode we have. But first, let's talk about it. Aiden Ross's boxing events have been canceled. What a shocker. Who could have called that one, BL?
Wow. I mean, it's not like we were warning everyone that a brain injury was going to happen and they were possibly going to get sued for it. Thankfully, it looks like they're going to move away from boxing. But what's slightly more concerning, in my opinion, is they're looking now to go into kickboxing or possibly MMA.
Yeah, I don't know why after giving someone a brain injury, Aiden would go, let's do this again in different disciplines that are potentially more dangerous, right? You catch a knee, you catch a deep submission, and you've got a ref that doesn't know what they're looking at, and you go out, and the ref just still letting you get choked. I've seen that many times. It's scary. I think he should be banned from putting on any combat sports event, period. Aiden Ross is not the guy to be doing this. It's just not safe. It's dangerous. That's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. So I don't know. I think the world's going to be much better off when Aiden Ross stops creating content and stops doing dumb events like this.
HS Tiki is again dropping exclusives. A Misfits pay-per-view has been confirmed and against someone that is massive. The suspense is killing me. I'm sure it's killing you, Ben. Who could be on this pay-per-view card?
Oh, it's such an interesting question. First off, we got to stop telling these streamers details because they just leak them like nobody's business. I know there's a lot of interest in running it back with Zerka. They had that street fight brawl. And to be honest, Zerka looked bad. You know, he got dropped a couple times, I think. Tiki was just doing what he wanted to him. So I'd be interested in seeing that, and I think HS Tiki would really clean his clock if that fight goes down.
Well, it seems to be a lot of rumors. At the end of May, there's going to be a big event. It's where? What's happening? Who's going to be in this card? So many questions, and unfortunately, we do not have the answer for you yet.
Not yet, but hopefully soon. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to one of, if not the greatest boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr., here in the Misfits News booth. Ladies and gentlemen, such a pleasure to have some individuals here in the booth. Very interesting guests. And Fez Batista has joined us to intro him. Fez?
Woo! Be there if you are a bum. What's up, Misfits? It is my pleasure and my honor to welcome to the Misfits universe the excellence of execution, the pound for pound greatest boxer, not of this time, not of that time, but of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former middleweight world champion, former super middleweight world champion, former light heavyweight world champion, and former WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Y'all must have forgot.
Roy, it is fantastic to have you, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good, man. Enjoying myself, enjoying life, and having a good time. You know, enjoying seeing what you guys are doing with the Misfit situation. Enjoying it all. You know, it's been awesome for boxing, for the sport, for the sporting world, for the entertainment world. So it's been a great thing. So I'm enjoying life.
Let's start with the relationship between you and Fez Batista, the training experience. Talk to us about that partnership.
Well, we had a good relationship. I met him back in the days. He wasn't really, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, wasn't really getting treated fairly in Las Vegas. I wasn't a guy who ever wanted to be a world champion in boxing for real, but he did want to enhance his skills to get to where he could fight and where he could defend himself. I knew that's what he wanted to do, and most people, if they don't see big dollars at the end, they don't spend time with you. You feel me? So these guys are not going to show him anything because they didn't see a big ending in boxing. Me, it don't matter because if God they gave it to me, I try to give it to other people. So I took him on, and he learned really pretty fast, and he actually got pretty good at it. So it wasn't bad. But for where he started from to where he came to, it was very impressive to me, and I loved it.
And obviously, he made that debut against Ben Williams not too long ago. What did you make of that performance overall?
Wasn't bad. A few things we could have done differently had I been around him. I just couldn't get to him at the time because I had so many other guys fighting. I loved the intro. I loved all the freaking marketing around. He's a brilliant guy. So he did a great job of getting people really hyped and interested. But I think he could have did a little bit differently had he not had a few injuries he had, and had I got to him enough to get him back on point where I had him at. I think he could definitely change the outcome of that fight.
And to elaborate on that last part, will we see you in the corner heralding the training camp of Batista?
Of course, you'll see me again because that's my man. It's like I get in arguments with people all the time because they say, why you mess with these people that are this or are there or that we don't think gonna be this? It's not about that to me. That God bless me with it. I try to give it to as many as I can.
Well, I want to shift gears for a moment here. We've spoken about a bit of crossover boxing, but Roy Jones Jr., you are one of the greatest, if not regarded the greatest boxer of all time. So I want to talk about that career and that journey. Could you talk the fans through your journey as a boxer?
Now, let me just say it like this. I went through a lot in boxing. I became the 1988 representative for the Olympic team, for the United States Olympic team. I got all the way to the gold medal round. I beat the heck out of a Korean, and they gave it to him, who is so bad that, he felt so bad about it. He wanted to commit suicide a few times because of the outcome of that fight, because he knows he didn't beat Roy Jones Jr. Because I didn't get that gold medal, it turned me from medium to high, to super high. Had I got a gold medal, y'all probably would not even be interviewing me now, because I'd probably just be a one division world champion. But since I got the Val Barker Cup, which was the most outstanding boxer of the Olympics, it turned me on high. So I went and got the middleweight title. That wasn't enough. I went and got the super middleweight title. That wasn't enough. I went and got the light heavyweight title. That still wasn't enough. I needed to make history. So I went and got the heavyweight title. Now, history being made, I am the only being, not living, not dead, only being, period, to ever touch planet Earth to turn pro as a dream middleweight and become heavyweight champ of the world. Tell me they ain't pound the baddest dude alive. Y'all must have forgot.
Can you detail your immediate reaction when they gave that gold medal to your opponent? Like, what was going through your head?
I was completely devastated. A 19-year-old kid, the youngest kid on the Olympic team, fighting for a medal that I have been fighting amateur for 9 years. I sacrificed birthday parties, family reunions, family situations, family functions, all types of going out in high school. I sacrificed so many different things to get that gold medal, and to have them to just take it from me, man, it was devastating. But it was actually the biggest blessing of my life.
Now, your career has been one of many ventures. You haven't only done boxing, but you also went into that rap career as well. Can you talk the people through what inspired that rap career?
Well, what inspired my rap career was the fact that I used rap music to motivate me when I was fighting in my prime. Scarface is my favorite artist and always will be my favorite artist, because he rapped songs that made me feel like when I sing them songs or say those lyrics that he was saying, I could relate those lyrics to myself. So when y'all hear that, can't be touched, can't be stopped, can't be moved, can't be rocked, anybody that's going into battle got to feel like that. If you don't feel like that, then you ain't going to win. But if you feel like that, that means you might be going to try to win.
Every opponent brings something different, and all challenges are quite unique. But was there any singular guy that you said, this is the toughest person, this is the biggest challenge that I've had to overcome inside the ring?
No, James Hunter was the toughest person I really had to overcome, because you had to stay focused all night, but I kind of knew what I had to do. It's just a matter of not ever losing focus, because if you lose focus for this amount of time, he's taking you out. You understand me? But there was a guy I fought early in my career, a guy named Rollin Williams. Nobody will ever know him. This guy has studied me so well that he knew everything that I do. He knew how I breathe. He knew when my eyes blink. He knew everything. It took me 4 rounds to really truly put a glove on him. Now, I finally knocked him out, but when I got in, I was like, wow, this guy has studied me to a T. He knew my every single freaking move. So you know what I had to do? I had to make a new move on the spot right there in the ring that night and get him out there. And that's exactly what I did.
I'm curious, you talk about how boxing these days has lost the competitive edge. A lot of different things have changed. Are there any boxers that you can identify that are competing right now where you go, that's somebody that has that old age mentality? That's somebody who is, a boxer.
Terrence Bud Crawford.
What a boxer.
He will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere, just make sure the money right. He don't care. You understand me? And truly, I think Devin Haney's getting that way. I think Tyson Fury is kind of that way. I think Dimitri Bivol is kind of that way. I think Arthur BF is kind of that way. So a lot of guys I think are that way. I think Jerron Enos might be even that way. I think Tank kind of that way. I think it's a lot of guys that are getting that competitive edge back, that want to prove that they're the best, not just in their weight class, but around their weight class.
I want to touch on a fight that is, to be fair, quite concerning, to be honest. And it's coming up, Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. Now, what do you make of that fight? Obviously, Ryan Garcia is going through the emotions right now. Do you think he's okay to fight someone like Devin Haney?
Well, I know he's okay to fight Devin Haney because they fought, I think, about 6 times as amateurs. And they 3-3. So if he can fight anybody, it's Devin, because he already know Devin. And then like Devin's no stranger. You know how some guys they won't fight nobody, but their brother they'll go to war with their brother. Well, this is how I feel about the Haney Garcia situation. These two guys know each other. They're gonna fight hard because they know one another. Ryan ain't got nothing to figure out. He already know Devin. Devin ain't got nothing to figure out. He already know Ryan, who has progressed as a professional better than the other guy. And I think, we'll see. We'll find out who progressed the best.
Do you have an early prediction for maybe who you think will get their hand raised?
I like Haney late, or I like Haney by decision, but we'll see. Ryan has shown that he can take anybody out with that left hook, so Haney got to avoid that left hook all night. And Ryan knows Haney better than probably anybody else that Haney's ever faced, because they fought 6 times as an amateur. He has the better chance of catching him than anybody that he's fought so far, in my opinion. So it's gonna be a great fight. Look forward to it. I think either guy can win it, but my mindset tell me that Haney is on a high right now, and he's on that winning streak. And I think he's gonna keep it up.
I want to shift gears and pivot to another matchup that has attracted a lot of attention. It's Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Now, obviously, you recently fought the legend Mike Tyson. How would you describe that experience?
Well, that was a hell of an experience. Mike is not easy to hit still. Mike is still as powerful as he ever was. When I heard the other day that they're implementing 16-ounce gloves and headgear, that is not to save Mike Tyson. Do not underestimate the age. The man hit me in my chest one time. It felt like a mule that kicked me in my chest. I was like, whoa, this dude still got it. So I thought that because I'm so fast, I'm still pretty fast, I thought him doing this, I should be able to hit him very easily, right? That ain't easy as it looks either. So I think Jake gonna be in for a bit of a surprise. You think you can go out there just run over old Mike Tyson? Nah, it's not that simple. Trust me.
Well, I'll say opinions are quite divided at the moment. Jake Paul obviously being at the moment regarded as the favorite. He's younger, he wants that KO win. But also Mike Tyson still, as you say, possesses that threat, that power. So what is your take on this matchup?
My take is if Jake can take the punch, then he may have a chance. Because Jake does throw a good punch. He knocked out a few people already, and he showed you he has power in his hands, in both hands. I like his progress in boxing so far, but it's a different animal when you say Mike Tyson. If Mike takes this serious, Mike is a different person. I know he took me serious because I was something serious.
Something that has been debated for many years. I know you guys did fight, but it was an exhibition at the end of the day. If you were to fight in your prime, Mike Tyson versus the legendary Roy Jones Jr., how would have that fight gone?
Would have been very difficult and very tough. He's a very tough competitor. He was naturally bigger than me, of course, so he had the size, but I had the speed advantage. The only thing that would have been difficult was the fact that I would have had to push him back, and that means I would have had to take a couple. But like I said, before I lost that 25 pounds of muscle, I was taking them a couple a lot better than I would take them after I lost the 25 pounds of muscle. So I think I would have took them few that I had to take, got me to the late rounds, and I think I would have beat them because I would have fought him with the same style that Holyfield fought him with. You understand me? Don't let him come forward, keep him going back. I would have did the same exact thing.
What would have been the defense to the ear bite? Was there a patented technique to avoid the jaws of Tyson?
Bite his ass back. I even told him when we fought this, I said, Mike, you bite my ear, I'm telling you right now, I'm biting your ass back.
You talk about that competitive edge still having that fire. There's been some rumors involving one Tommy Fury. Can you kind of address this and get to the root cause of these rumors?
I mean, the root cause, when we did an interview over in Saudi Arabia when Tyson Fury fought Ngannou, and it was like, you know what? This might not be a bad situation. You've been doing great. You've been doing good with the YouTubers. You beat Jake Paul. Maybe we should go ahead and see what's happening with you. You know what I mean? Maybe we can test you out. And like, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's talk about that. Let's see if anything can happen. And it would have gave me an opportunity to come fight in the UK, which I never did in my prime. You understand me? I still would love to come perform there at least just one time because the UK fans are such great fans that I wouldn't care what it was, just to give them the opportunity to say at least they saw me in a ring over them. I would have loved to done it. So that's what I really was looking forward to, but it never really materialized into anything.
Was it ever close in terms of materializing? Yeah.
It was close. We talked a few times. It was close, but then it kind of just fell off.
Well, let me set the scene then. If that fight was made, what do you actually make of Tommy Fury's ability? What do you make of him as a boxer? There's multiple thoughts.
He's not bad. He's not bad as a boxer. He's not the most powerful guy, but it takes time to learn how to punch. I mean, Tyson Fury wasn't the most powerful guy. He's the heavyweight champion of the world, so you don't have to be the most powerful guy to be a heavyweight champion of the world. But he's not a bad boxer. As a matter of fact, he did beat Jake Paul. I thought he won that fight, but the fight with KSI I thought was a little bit shifty. Shifty. KSI gave him a harder time. than to me Jake Paul did. I thought that fight probably could have gone either way. So I thought he did good, but we'll see where he goes from here.
In terms of keeping it on the KSI versus Tommy Fury, what should KSI have done in that fight to solidify the win?
To me, he probably should have been a little bit more aggressive and threw a few more punches, because when you're aggressive and you throw them more, the judges think you're busier. They may give you the closer round. They think the other guy's busier. They'll give him the closer round.
And what is your overall sentiment towards that karate-esque blitzin style Michael Venom Page type? What is the Roy Jones thought on it?
I love it because it's something I've never even faced, and I've faced everything. I've seen it all, but I've never seen a guy do the things or fight with the karate style fighting that KSI does. It's very unique and it's very different. You understand me? So anytime you see something that's unique and different like that, it make you say, hey, I wonder what that would look like in front of me. You understand me? You start to think, like, wow, this guy's different. This guy brings something totally different to the table. It's fun. He's not the best fundamental guy, but just because he brings that karate aspect to the game, it makes it unique and makes you want to see it.
What would a potential Roy Jones Jr. response to that karate style in the ring be? How would you approach fighting KSI?
Very different. I'd have to look at him a little bit more, but from what I've seen, his uniqueness would be very difficult to deal with because you never know when he's coming and when he's not. You understand? He's unpredictable. And that being said, he's going to make it hard, especially when your reflexes are not what they used to be. Now, my old reflexes, it would have been easy for me because I would have been able to anticipate when it's happening. But being now that I don't have the reflexes that I had then, it'll be a little bit more difficult. It'll be a little bit more shifty, and I have to do different things. I have to mentally pick him out in other ways because I got to take advantage of my attributes now, which are different than what my attributes were back then. Back then, I had speed and reflex. Now, I got a little bit of speed, but ain't what it was. And reflexes aren't the same at all, but I got a little more knowledge. So it would be something to figure out, but you'd have a funny way of doing it.
Another name I feel, and a former opponent of Jake Paul, but more so very successful UFC career, Anderson the Spider Silva. I mean, again, the rumorville, you never know what's true and what's not, but Roy Jones, address Anderson Silva for me.
And Anderson Silva was probably the better of the strikers from the UFC game. To me, he was one of the guys who really dominated the UFC with mostly striking. You understand me? Jake beat him. That was cool. I was surprised that Jake beat him, but he did beat him. He's, to me, probably a better boxer than most of the people we've seen come from that world. And he and I were the first two who talked about that. We incubated that situation. We were the one who started that before they allowed Floyd and Conor to do it. We were trying to do it first. You understand me? So people understand that Mr. Y'all must have forgot. He's the one that come up with these ideas most of the time. Then people steal them and they go operate on them and get the benefit from them. But that was Mr. Y'all must have forgot the idea.
A big crossover fight, obviously, that's going to be compared to Mike Tyson is doing Jake Paul. Could we expect on Misfits Boxing, possibly Roy Jones Jr. versus KSI?
I mean, we make it happen. I mean, I understand that KSI good. He got a different style, but Roy Jones Jr. still is a dog. You understand me? He don't bow down from nothing. And when he come for real. So there was enough time, and it was a great situation, and it was going to be in the UK, and people would want to come see it. I mean, I am younger than Mike Tyson. If Mike can do it, why I can't? You understand where I'm coming from? But it's got to be the right situation. So if people want to see it, and it was a great situation and a great chance for me to come perform in front of my UK crowd, how could I say no?
Now, I want to rewind things back. Obviously, I think about Misfits Boxing. It gets me excited. And I see a headliner possibly, Anderson Silva versus Roy Jones Jr. Could we ever see that possibly on Misfits Boxing?
Very, very likely. I mean, I know Anderson still would do it. And if everything came right, why not? You listen, Roy Jones Jr. is the kind of guy that he don't give a damn about nothing. If it's right, he fight. If it ain't right, he don't waste his time. He don't talk about it. But if you go back and come back to me with a right situation, don't even ask him, am I going to do it? Y'all must have forgot. You're damn right, I'm going to do it. You understand me? That's who I am.
But I do want to ask, because the Paul and Tyson announcement drew a lot of criticism, again, because of the age. What is your response to that crowd? If they came to Roy Jones Jr. and said, nah, you're too old, we don't want to see it because of the age. What is the response there?
I'm younger than Mike, and look what he about to do. They about to make history. Mm-hmm. They about to do something on Netflix. It's going to be epic, and it's going to be historic. You understand me? I'm 3 years younger than him. If he can do it, why can't I? Matter of fact, in his prime, he was the champ in one division. He was the heavyweight champ. Now, he was youngest heavyweight champ ever, but he was just champ in the heavyweight division. That has been done before, just never by somebody his age. Nobody has ever turned professional as a junior middleweight and became the heavyweight champion of the world. I am the GOAT. I'm the one that anybody that know boxing for real, they're going to tell you that man right there, if he'd retired after he fought Tarver the first time, till this day, there will be no fighter that they will say was of his equal.
You at number 1, greatest of all time. Who are the other top 4 people that you would put up there after yourself?
First of all, because he's the greatest of all time and everything to me in boxing, and he's why I started, I would put Muhammad Ali above me. And I think
Okay.
he was technically better than me in the ring, but the greatest of all time, I would still say him because of what he went through, what he stood for, how he had the ups and downs in life. Like we talk about Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson created his own ups and downs. Ali had basically racial ups and downs. You understand me? At a time when racism was really, really in a bad way, and he still dominated the world. You understand me? He was the most known athlete in a time where there was no social media, no television, pretty much all over the world, no radio all over the world. It was radio in places, television in places, but it was nothing like it is today. And he was still the most known person on planet Earth. How you ever gonna top that? You feel me? So he would still be number 1. I'll be right up under him. So maybe 1A and 1B, but I'll be right up under him. Then I'll probably say Sugar Ray Robinson, Salvador Sanchez, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Roberto Duran will be right together. Then I'll probably put Pernell with right behind that.
Now, I want to ask you before we end this interview is there's a lot of upcoming boxing fans here, especially on Misfits Boxing. What's your advice as obviously one of the greatest boxers of all time, if not the greatest boxer of all time, to go into boxing? What does it take?
Well, to go to boxing, it takes a lot, but this is what Misfits is starting to show the world because it's a new day in boxing now, right? You got to learn how to fight. You got to get in shape, stay in shape, get your technique up to part, but don't leave out the social media part. You have to have something to make people want to see you, whether it's your skills, whether it's your talk game, whether it's your show coming into the ring, whether it's your show leaving the ring, whether it's your something you do special in training. You got to have something that make people want to see you. You understand me? You have to figure out a way to be must-see TV. Then when you become must-see TV, you must be able to deliver.
And talking about must-see TV, no bigger, no better than Roy Jones Jr., sir. Thank you so much for the time. It was an honor, and we cannot wait to speak with you soon.
By the head in the building, y'all must have forgot.
What an honor it was to have Roy Jones Jr. on. I mean, I was honestly having butterflies doing that interview. Wow, what a guy, what an amazing person, and what a boxer he was. But Ben, I tell you something, he looks like he has intentions to come back to the boxing ring.
It sounds like he does, man. And, you know, we want to maintain our authenticity. We've been vocal against some of these older boxers coming back and fighting. That still applies here. But I think a matchup between himself and Anderson Silva does make a lot of sense. Each guy is a little bit older, and I don't think the fans would have as much of an issue. And I think people would want to see that. That's a fun fight. And if each guy wants to still compete, that makes a lot of sense in my opinion.
Something that interested me, he commented on Mike Tyson. He seems fairly confident Mike Tyson stands a chance in this fight.
He's saying the 16-ounce gloves and the headgear, that's for Jake Paul. That's to keep him safe. That's a lot of confidence in Iron Mike. I, again, think that Jake Paul is going to come in there and probably smoke him a little bit, but it was really interesting to hear the guy that the most previous person to share the ring with Mike Tyson has that level of confidence in him. So clearly he knows something we don't, and we're just going to find that out.
Well, steering things back into some breaking news, Logan Paul has now announced he wants to be on the UFC. Now, Ben, what do you make of that one?
It's interesting because it's a big gimmick matchup that would occur, and the UFC typically doesn't pander to that type of showcasing, but Logan Paul is an unbelievable athlete. He is a massive, massive superstar, and listen, CM Punk came over and did it. They had James Toney come over and fight. So it has occurred, right? There is precedent. I would not be shocked if Logan Paul goes in there and probably gets a big, finish.
I would love to see Logan Paul in the UFC. I really think that's one of his callings. He's been an absolute superstar when it comes to WWE. We didn't see the Logan Paul we expected in boxing, but I really think UFC much more fits his style. And he could have a super fight in there. You say the name CM Punk, I say possibly fight Logan Paul.
No. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? I mean, I think Punk's like 215 right now, but he's injured. Logan's in the prime. Pro wrestling is very different from mixed martial arts. If I'm Logan, you'd have to kind of sacrifice a little bit of the WWE in order to train and really prepare. And even then, you're not going to become UFC caliber in 3 to 6 months, So, they'd have to really be careful with who they put Logan up against. And I don't know. I think the world's better if Logan Paul wins.
On other news, Danny Aarons has posted on Twitter his incredible transformation. Now, Ben, he told us on last episode that he's been putting the work in, and I think this is a perfect demonstration of the transformation Danny Aarons has made into boxing.
It really is. It shows commitment. It shows that he's serious about this, and I think that's what boxing and fitness and combat sports somewhat revolves around, is bettering yourself, and Danny Aarons has absolutely made himself into a better human being because of this pursuit. And again, he's coming in hot, and we'll see if that volcanic energy assists him in the ring. Either way, I'm excited to see Danny. And last up, up, we've got Le'Veon Bell and Tristan Ham chirping at each other online, going back and forth. We know that the Canadian adventurer is taking this boxing seriously by virtue of him linking up with BJ Flores, but Le'Veon Bell has been around this scene, has taken on some real tough challenges. I remember that Uriah Hall fight. That's a big step up for Tristan Ham, respectively, from not Logan Paul.
Le'Veon Bell is someone with experience. He's shown he can go to the final rounds and dog it out, and he does stuff that really surprises me. He really does have a caliber when it comes to boxing, and he's a true threat in that division. However, Tristan Ham, we saw him in that fight. Yes, it was against not Logan Paul, and it was not an impressive performance from not Logan Paul, but that can't take away from what Tristan Ham could possibly bring. So it's a good matchup, and there seems to be, again, real beef. There seems to be a storyline, which is what we try to advocate here on Misfits News.
What an episode, Misfits News. As always, we pack some serious punches. We'll keep you updated every Tuesday and Thursday on the biggest developments in the world of combat sports. I've been Ben the Bane Davis. For BL, remember to like, subscribe, comment down below, and we'll see you next time.